Jeff here, and this is early morning Zaytuna Farm. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour through the Central Valley. I'm kind of in the lower mid slopes of the property here. Just above me is a long swale. It comes through Paradise Dam, overflow to Cubby House Dam, around the campsite, through Mafia Dam, Campers Lagoon, and out almost to the boundary. And there's multiple swivel pipes, and there's 3 level sill spillways on this swale. This is a food forest swale, very lush. It's the 4th swale in sequence coming down from the top of the property. And there are many other dams included in those sequences. But at this point, just below the swale mound, there's one of our main farm tracks. See it there? This is a farm track, an internal farm track, and that track's on contour most of the way round. And just on the upside here, there's a V-drain. Now that V-drain is quite interesting. Oh, I think it's very interesting because it picks up a lot of the soak out of this swale and directs it through multiple complexity down through the system of the Central Valley. Now it's quite common. You start off with main features in positions high in a property where there's a very specific point where you put a dam and you connect a swale and you lock into geographic features. Then as you come down through a property and the design starts to distribute the water and the nutrient and the life systems take up that design application, the complexity potential increases. So as we get down here, 4 swales above us, 3 swales below us, the features start to offer all kinds of potential. And we've taken up quite a lot of it, not all of it, because it could go on for a long time, taking up different variations and different sets of complexity, which would give you more potential productivity in many, many, many ways and can be expressed in many, many options. Now, this is really interesting because you set up a system that has a reverse dendritic pattern. The trunk of the trees at the top of the property where these main features are positioned. And then as you come down, you come through main branches to really the canopy of the water tree down lower in the property. So options become extremely higher. There's so many variations of options as you go down. I'm going to walk you through quite a few of them because we've recently added quite a lot of new little features. And now that Zaytuna Farm is an eco farm in Hamlet with 8 shareholders, we can actually we can share with you how that new situation has increased the potential of Zaytuna Farm. The complexity increases almost exponentially with 8 new houses, well, 7 new houses. My old house, a new lucky shareholder has bought my new old house and I'm building a new house. 7 new houses will be here, 8 shareholders in total, and all kinds of new things to share with you. Let me take you for that walk. So here's our farm track, and just up here is our swale that I've described. It's a beautiful swale. It's got a lot of beautiful features. Quite stunning bamboo there, Thyrostachys siamensis. And there are many, many features along the swale, but let's just get onto this V-drain a minute. Here she is. And we had some good rain at this year, very early in the season. You can see moisture here has been in this swale, this V-drain. As we go along the V-drain, you can see all kinds of organic matter building up. The moisture increases because although it stopped raining almost 10 days ago, and most properties in the area are already dried out, here at the lower end of the V-drain, we've got moisture. You can see moisture here, and it increases, and it increases. Now the track starts to dip here down to a crossing pipe below a little dam called Cubby House I mentioned before, and now there's very minor flow. So now there's a bit more flow and more flow. As we go down, we've got a little tiny flow here. This is rain that fell on the property 10 days ago, still slowly moving through the property. At this point, we've got a nice little trickle, and it's going to go down there. And here, at this low point in the track, there's a pipe. There's our pipe, and there's flow. That's slowing down the embodied energy of that rain that fell at least 10 days ago. So here I have a small grazing paddock, but let me give you a panoramic view. New shareholder's house. It's going to be my next door neighbour when I build my house, which we haven't started quite yet. And distant view. And there's our dairy paddock and our dairy in the background. Cows waiting to be milked. I'm going to milk them a little bit later today. So let's follow our water a second. So this water comes down and it's coming through that pipe, quite a big crossing pipe, and it's trickling through here and it hits this bamboo. So there's two clumps of bamboo here, one just recovering, Textilis gracilis, and another clump in bamboo, all clumpers, another clump in bamboo here called Bambusa Alphonse Carr. Now, the cows have been hanging out here and enjoying that bit of water and shade. They've been standing in it in the hot summer weather. Now, the edge of the paddock here, the electric fence, allows the cows to graze in this swale. So we've dropped into a swale now. That water's dropping into this swale and it's getting manured by cows. The cows in this paddock and the cows walking along the base of this swale don't affect the mound because it doesn't matter in the bottom of the trench, but their manure gets diluted and spread all the way along this swale. So some of the swale's been planted, some of it's been left for the new shareholder to plant, and he's enjoying that. So as we come through, there's some of our girls in the background. And we come round to the point of the valley in this swale, and further on, this swale's been well planted. Now, a lot of spread of nutrient. The swale only goes round to the ridge line there. The cows get a good feed on ice cream bean and legume trees and mulberries, and they're all happy. Happy mob up there, look at them. They're all pooping every now and again in this paddock, and that's washing down nutrient that's diluting evenly, like cordial, manure cordial, all the way through the swale. Okay, I'm going to jump through the elastic gate here and get into our shareholder's paddock. This has also been grazed a little bit. We're carefully grazing amongst emerging food forests. And they do okay, they do all right. So there's a lot of arrowroot here, which we use to feed the dairy cows when we milk them. So that's good, that all works. I'm going to hop over this fence. Oh, should I say, there's a swivel pipe, and some of that water's coming through in here and dribbling through that swivel pipe. That swivel pipe's open. I've actually got enough water early in the year. I don't need any more soakage. I've got it well soaked. The property's doing real well. Now, I hope you can keep up with me here because, like I said, it gets complex. So, around the house site, we've got a diversion drain, which also, like our V-drain on the road, picks up soakage from the second swale now. So this all has to be dressed up as we develop the property. But now this V-drain, It's going to look gorgeous when it's all dressed up. Below the second swell is already running water. Look at this. There's water running there. Lovely. So that's like a little stream. And this is going to run for longer than the top one, which is still running, the one above the track where we started. It comes next to the house site. There's our house site. And it goes on down as a diversion drain. But there's a point where it stops and goes on contour. So here we are. We're going down to a third swell. I said there was 4. We've got 1 to go after this. Now here's the third swell, and the water's now stopped flowing and started simply soaking. It's got a chance to soak in now. So here's the third swell. There's a beautiful emerging food forest on the upside, and there will be a beautiful one on the lower side as our shareholder makes use of these interesting designs. So third swell down, potentially a lot more water sits here. You can see water has been sitting here by the sort of flow patterns and soak patterns in the grasses. Now here's another swivel pipe marked by a steel post, and it's just sitting here. Now we've taken it off because we don't want any more soakage. I usually put them up on the posts. They look a bit ugly, but then we know at a distance that swivel pipe's off. Now there's a second swivel pipe here. Second swivel pipe. And that's also off. So let's put that on as well. That swivel pipe goes through 2 swivel pipes. We've got a lot of water here. And they go down to the 4th swell I'm going to show you. So I've got a food forest above me with a swell, with dairy cows up there in the grazing paddock, pumping nutrient downhill. Now, before we go any further, I better show you that we have a level sill at the end of these 2 swales. So it's just a simple level sill there. It's just a level sill on the end of the swale. So water will come up to this height. If the swivel pipes are closed, it'll come over here. If the swivel pipes are open and it's going over here, we've got one hell of a rain. But anyway, we've got a level sill that will take water out gently and then soak it downhill. Or we've got swivel pipes to take most of the flow. So they're back there. I'll stand on the mound. There are the citrus trees on the mound there. See those? You can see in the distance the white pipes. So they're the swivel pipes, and the swale above had the swivel pipe in the corner of the valley. Here's our level sill, hard to see in the grass. And there's another one up here. I'll just go up and show you that. Now in the dairy milking paddock, the swale comes through like this. Hello, Kitty. This is Kitty looking at us. And that's Chocolate's lying down dark in the grass there. And that's Jessica up the top. So here we have a level sill that comes off that swale there. It also has a crossing pipe coming under a ridge track, which is a farm track for the animals and tractor. And the swale does come from a bit of a distance around that corner. There's a bit of a wild food forest. But this is its main overflow. If the swivel pipe's up, or the flow's so huge that the swivel pipe and the level sill kick in. So the water would come down here, it would hit this swale, but at that point everything's overflowing, and it would go down and hit the 4th swale, which now has quite a bit of development on it. So let me just pan around, view round, because we're going right down this valley, which gets a little bit flatter and more complex all the time. My house site's in the distance. I have a walled garden going in there around a natural swimming pool. But let's not go down that rabbit hole. My stable's in the background with the horses, and we've repaired a beautiful dam down there. So I'll show you that as I get down there. My garden, my food forest, my chicken tractor, my homing pigeons, meat pigeons are down there, and my neighbours next door. And his new house is getting a nice flash of sun right now. Okay, third swell, let's drop down to the fourth swell. And we drop down here, we have our fourth swell. No swivel pipes in this one because it has a different exit point. At this point, we're trying to focus the water. Now we have water on tap here because that's head pressure. That's head pressure from one of our top dams. We've set our water up to work easily for us. No pumps involved, just gravity. Again, that's another story. All right, now we're in the fourth swell. We're fenced off because we can bring the cows down here and graze at this point in time on the inside. And we've got irrigators on the top side because we've got patches of watermelon and cover crop and all kinds of interesting things happening. New fruit trees going in, new food forest emerging as we grow crops, as we grow food forest, etc. So there's a really funky planting all the way along here and it's going to look great. But over time, this will be a food forest. It's already got some fruit trees in position. But let's follow our water. So now we're in a bigger swell and it's been full of water. Oh, our cows are asking to be milked. Yes, yes, I'm coming. It's all very personal on a farm like this. Cows recognize me and they know that I'm the one who brings them food and milks them, etc. So now we have moisture and it's only just dried out, allowing me to take you for this walk. And when we go right down this end, there's a beautiful section above us to be planted to food forest. So this will be food forest from the third to the from the second to the third to the fourth swale. You can see the swale here is quite moist. It's only just dried out. It's sort of muddy actually. It's squelchy a little bit. We've got a big exit pipe here. Now we've got a big exit pipe here. And that goes through to this little beauty, a paddy. It's a lotus paddy. And actually, the first lotus of the year is just flowered out the back there, and the second one's just coming. This will be covered in gorgeous lotus flowers. This is lotus that you can harvest as a root. So all that water is slowed and trapped and soaked so slowly, and eventually it goes down that swivel pipe there, which I've got slightly tilted. You can hear it. The lotus look beautiful at this time in the morning because of the water droplets on all the leaves. Gorgeous sight. And our lotus at the back there is just catching the early morning sun. And this will be a gorgeous scene in the next few weeks with it all in flower. Quite something. Beautiful thing for our new shareholder who's going to be looking down on this as his home view. All right, so that water goes underneath the little Flattish Dam wall and goes into one of our new ponds. This is one of the features I really wanted to show you. So that water is trickling in here. And the pipe exit point is there. It goes into this lead-in section, this beautiful little pond. Now there's 3 of these we've put in down the hill, and they have spillways on either side. So the water comes down, splits and splits evenly, and then joins back, goes through the next one, splits, joins back, goes through the next one, and goes through our bottom dam, which we've sealed with clay. But while we were sealing that dam, we put these little ponds in with some of the clay we were bringing in, truckloads of clay, only coming in 3 kilometers. We got it pretty cheap. And what we did here was, this is sandy soil, and we only wanted little ponds, and we weren't going to dig down to where there might be clay. So what we did was, we dug these dams in sand, shaped them up in sandy loam, and then filled them with clay and compacted them with a big machine, then cut the little ponds out of the compacted clay that we'd filled the dam with. So we literally dug and shaped a dam, then filled the dam up with clay and compacted it as we did, then recarved the dams, the little ponds, out of our compacted clay. So we made the geological event happen ourselves. Lovely creative event. This is all quite new, so I've got a lot of mulch on either side to steady up the water flows. So here's that water. So we're kind of tracking the same water, guys. This is the same water. There it is, soaking through the mulch. And on we go to the second one. But we've got so much water in the Central Valley here that just yesterday, after slashing the rampant regrowth grass, to get a good look at the water flow, I've had to put diversion drains in. Now listen, when Jeff puts a diversion drain in, there's a lot of water on the ground. I don't do diversion drains until I really have to. But here, I had to put some drains in to take water to the ponds because there's so much soak coming through those poor swales above us with the 3 above them. So we're actually talking from here up to the top of the property, 7 swales, an enormous amount of soak coming through here. Lovely gentle soak. I mean, everything's gentle. On the garden side, it goes uphill, but on the valley side is a very shallow slope here. So each of the diversion drains leads to one of these little ponds. So here we are, little tiny soak. We're in diversion drain, picking up some of that swale soakage water into this gorgeous, what will be a gorgeous stable feature. Water's already clearing. And a spillway on both sides of each of these dams. I mean, if you can time scout to the future and see what the potential is, it's gorgeous. It's such a gorgeous feature. I mean, I'm excited about developing this as a life-rich system that will look amazing, will work amazing, but it will look like paradise. My goodness. But there's something I'm going to add, which I'll explain in a minute. So here we are. Second dam has reformed around its spillways, a second little pond. Come level sill spillways on either side, curving round the dam wall we built. But remember, we filled it all with clay. We're already quite a lot of life moving in, look. It's going to be noisy with frogs pretty soon. A lot of tadpoles. So the last little pond, spillway on either side, going down to our big dam at the bottom. So the journey continues as the sun rises over the Pacific in the distance. Looks a bit messy now. There's another diversion drain. So we're trying to, at this point, focus the water towards the feature, focus to feature. So in the time event, there's a little bit of chaos at this point in time, which will end up being extremely diverse and productive in featured form. And the aesthetics, well, I'm just going to have to show you over time because the aesthetics are going to be ridiculous. So coming past our garden, which is just above this, now, oh look, there's wild duck manure, wild duck footprints. Obviously it's a magnet for wildlife. Here's our third dam's overflow, and here it is. Now we've got a little bit more soak because we've come lower, we're catching more, and then that curves its way round. We'll follow the track. We can't follow both tracks at the same time because there's 2 spillways, but we'll follow this one, and that goes on round here. You can hear my feet sloshing now, and joins up here. It will look great, believe me. I'm already planting and goes into wood duck. And we've sealed wood duck. It looks like we've sealed wood duck at last. Oh, this beautiful dam has been a while to seal. We've tried a few methods, but now the clay looks like it's done it. My garden, food forest, is just above. Obviously there's big piles of compost being made. And I did a little bit of extra excavation here, and I created an island around that clumping bamboo and silky oak tree. And we put white sand on it, so it's going to be called Pirate Island for the kids. And then swim across there. It's quite shallow at this end, not too dangerous for the kids. And they can get up on that sandy beach island. You can even camp on there if you like. I expect some people like to meditate at sunrise on there, looking at the rising sun or something. But whatever you like, we've got an island. Islands are always fun. Now, I'll just walk around this side of the dam and show you this muddy input at the bottom. Here we are. This is kind of the resting point for now of the water, because it's going to hit in there. I've already planted vetiver there as a biological silk trap, so that'll take off pretty soon in this fertility. And I'm cleaning up around the dam as we go. This one's a big swim, and I like a swim, so that's great. And when we sealed this dam, we ended up with a lot of material we needed to move out of the way so we could seal with the clay. So we ended up with some mounds. And this mound here, this long mound, we put in as a feature. So, you know, it's a problem having that to deal with, but if you put it nearby, it can become a feature, so the problem becomes a solution. And this sandy mound, I'm planting to avocados, figs, pomegranates, olive, and other Mediterranean features, because it's sandy. It's really sandy soil. So we separated the sandy material, really sandy soil, look at this, and we made a well-drained mound. Then we have to leave a gap because there's some drainage water comes this way off the flat. And on this gap between this mound, there are 3 mounds here, these 2 in the distance, they're mostly quite heavy clay soil mix. And this mound here, which is mostly sandy soil and can grow Mediterranean species that like well-drained conditions. Here, I've just planted mulberry and grape. And here, we planted mulberry and grape. Now, I'm going to grow an archway across with mulberry to mulberry, and I'm going to graft them together. It's called pleaching. Mulberries will pleach one tree to another to make a living arch, and then the grape will trellis over the mulberry. So that's a companion. Grapes like to grow on mulberries. So in the future, you're going to see a mulberry arched biotech grape trellis. Now, when I was doing this, I actually found a little bird nesting in here. Look at that. She's laying more eggs every day. She just shot off then. It's a rail, a bird called a rail, little leggy water bird, runs around the edges in the wetland. At seed time, won't disturb this nest too much. But quite quickly, wildlife's moved in to a ground cover system. It's pretty amazing what happens when you do the right thing and life moves in. So we've cover cropped this. It's mostly cowpea, Vigna, but it's also got Jap millet in it, which the little birds love when it heads up, little seed. But I've also planted bamboo. So there's clumping bamboo on top of this mound every 2 meters. And this will give us great shelter. There's a gorgeous future vision here of different types of bamboo along the top of this mound, giving privacy to swimming in this dam. And also, all the way along here, when the bamboo gets big enough, like the one on the dam wall there, there'll actually be very little growing on the ground next to the dam. So when you do that, it kind of looks like a bamboo leaf beach. The bamboo leaves are the only thing on the ground, and they kind of control all the weeds and all the grasses, but stabilize the ground as well, creating a sort of, it looks like a beach, but it's actually made up of the bamboo leaves. So here's another gap between two mounds where we have to let some drain come through from the horse paddock. And I've put a Textilis gracilis on either side, the weave-in bamboo. That will look gorgeous. And then on the shoreline, I've put a tight planted row of Textilis gracilis. So again, it's about privacy. The kids are loving it. They're already out here with, well, kids and grown-ups, to tell you the truth, and myself. We're out here with little kayaks and little boat, and we're practice paddling with our surfboards and popping up. And so this dam is settling. It's all quite new. This is only just been sealed. We found a shattered sandstone section just in here. Well, I think that was the main problem with the dam. There was a real shattering of a sandstone seam in there that we didn't realize when we built the dam was letting everything go. So now we've got this gorgeous long dam with Pirate Island at the other end. So that's where our water ends up. But actually, it's not quite the end of the story, because as I hop over the electric fence here, when we come up to the dam wall, the emergency spillway is on this side. So if there's an emergency flow of water, it comes over this section here, which is original ground. But the main overflow is a connection to a swale. So although we're just about to step out of the valley, our main central valley there, I've walked you down through the bottom three swales. It actually comes under this track and joins a swale here. And the overflow for this system, when there's no emergency, just a normal overflow, is at the other end of this swale. Before we walk that little swale, let me just show you, we're on full height and there's a bit of water lapping over it. We put a shallow ledge here, which we will put sandstone blocks along the front line and put white sand behind it, so we have a white sand beach to Wood Duck Dam. So we're going to make our own beach. I've done that for clients, never done it for myself. So you can put sandstone blocks along the front, back it up with white sand, and you've got your own beach. Always nice. So let's go back to our swale. Okay, running behind my stable, we have this beautiful swale. It's coming through from the dam side down that big pipe. That big pipe there, that's water level. It's halfway up the pipe. That's why the beach is flooded, because we're still on a really high water level. So that goes on around this landscape. And I'm going to take you for a little bit of a walk around the swale line. The water goes on round here, and we're going behind my stable, and the water's there, still soaking. We're coming round the gentle ridge next to the valley now, and we're coming up to one of my farm tracks. So there's a crossing pipe here. So over there's another big pipe, a crossing pipe that goes through here and goes out the other side. So there's the pipe there under the farm track. Now, across another electric fence, and we've got extra features because, you know, we are talking about my house site, my new house site. We put in a ledge here, which will be a new nursery for the house site. I'm going to put in our nursery features there, shade house, polytunnel, etc. We've cleaned an area here of weed trees. It's in cover crop. Our swale continues full of water. Now we're in cover crop again because these are new earthwork features. And we have a little tiny crossing here that just goes to what will be an entertainment area. And there's another pipe, same size pipe, same amount of flow. And we go right out here and it stops there, right at the end. Now this is a new food forest. This is a food forest for my house site. And the water eventually goes into Fig Tree Dam. Fig Tree Dam here is filling because I emptied it to test wood duck, and it's almost completely emptied it to test wood duck's dam that we were sealing. And now we had rain. So we've just excavated just yesterday a little flat pad here next to the swale. So we can walk down here with the family and have a little barbecue in the food forest, looking down at this gorgeous dam, which is quite new as well, needs to be planted up. So let me end this tour eventually here by taking you to the water flow on Wood Duck Dam and those swales. Out here, food forest trees being planted in the cover crop, mango, jackfruit, chocolate pudding fruit, etc. Right here, on the next valley round, there's a level sill, which should be, I should have cleared it before this. There's a level sill here. There's a level sill here, and that water eventually gets to here, and it goes over this level sill, and down this bank, I've planted vetiver again to stabilize the water flow, and into Fig Tree Dam. Now this one's called Fig Tree, and this eventual spillway's over there in the distance. Fig Tree Dam is named after this beautiful fig tree. It's going to be behind our new house. But it's not overflowing. Even in the big rain we had in the last 10 days, it didn't quite overflow. That's because with the swales, it has the opportunity to soak in, and it has soaked in. Even though I'd mostly filled Wood Duck Dam, and there wasn't a lot of spare room for the big rain to take up position, the soakage, the water's still here. It's soaking through the subsoil, topsoils and subsoils, and allowing us to facilitate these beautiful life-rich events. So, hope that wasn't too long, but there you go. Little bit of a journey through Central Valley, multiple features. I said it was going to get more diverse, and it won't stop. It will keep getting more diverse. There's lots of little tours I can do like this for you. If it's interested, let me know. Put a comment down, and I'll try and answer your questions. And nice going for an early morning walk with you. There you go.